Hello, welcome back. Today we are going to discuss how we going to work with Jupyter Notebook in Visual Studio Code. In this video, I'm going to explain how we can install Jupyter Notebook in Windows and Linux, and also how we're going to work with Jupyter Notebook in Visual Studio Code. The first thing, one more thing I just want to say sorry about my previous video. I confused many people about benefits with your Jupyter Notebook. And the thing is, Jupyter Notebook is Jupyter Notebook is the first web-based is a web-based development uh, web-based development tool. And also, Jupyter Notebook comes with the other component is Jupyter Lab, and other one is Jupyter Hub. Jupyter Lab is next stage of Jupyter Notebook. You can synchronize your code with Git, and you can install so many extensions in on the Jupyter Lab, and you can work with those things, and you can see the differences of changes between. You can compare the your versions in the Jupyter Lab. And Jupyter Hub is you can work with many people, like with many developers. You can share your code, you can install on the server that is called Jupyter Hub, and you can work with many users. Like you can work with many students also. If you are in university or class, you can work with many students. If you are a developer, you can work with many developers. So that's uh, correction I'm doing for my previous video. And today, this is our agenda: installing pip in Linux first. The thing is, all Linux distribution comes with Python anyway, so that's why I'm not doing that. So next thing, installing Jupyter Notebook in Linux and working with Jupyter Notebook in Visual Studio Code. And I will explain also how to connect remote Jupyter server from Visual Studio also. And then we're going to install in Windows, and we will install Jupyter Notebook, Python, and Visual Studio. Then how can we debug in Visual Studio? Also, I will show you that in Linux and Windows also. And I will also explain how to connect remote server in Visual Studio Windows. Okay, now we jump onto our uh, Linux machine first. Then we're going to install pip. So, so I'm going here now. I'm opening the console. So I will show you which Python version Linux. This is a Debian system, and I'm going to show you what version we are running now. Python 3 capital V. So I'm running 3.7.3. I'm running, and so I'm going to install pip now. You going to install the pip first. Then we're going to install Jupyter Notebook. Then we're going to install Visual Studio Code. Okay. So next we're going to install sudo opt install python 3 pip. So it will install very quickly now. Then we will install Jupyter Notebook using pip. Pip is Python package manager. So you can use Conda also, that is comes with Anaconda installation. But if sometimes pip will install every package what is the requirements, and all the packages what is the dependencies, it will install itself. If you use Conda, sometimes some packages are not installed itself, all dependencies and all requirements. So I will suggest use pip. Okay, it's nearly finished now. Install is finishing pip installation. Then we're going to install Jupyter Notebook. Pip 3 install Jupyter Notebook. Sorry. Okay, it will install very quickly now. And then we're going to install Visual Studio Code on Debian. So you can install in two different ways. One is going to the site, Microsoft site, and download it, and then you can install using Debian Package Manager (dpkg), or you can add source list of the Microsoft source list in Debian from Microsoft. But the advantage with the source list, you can update your Visual Studio Code whenever Microsoft release the updates. So, but in this lecture, in this video, I'm just installing direct from Microsoft website. Sorry, Visual Studio Code. Okay, okay, we are downloading Visual Studio Code. So we downloading, this is Debian, so I'm downloading .deb. Okay, I'm saving in downloads now. Then I'm opening console and going to download CD downloads. See that is here. Then I'm installing sudo dpkg -i code dev. So you can see that it's installing very quickly now. That's it, it's done now. So I'm running that Visual Studio. Before doing that, I need to start Jupyter Notebook. So I'm starting Jupyter Notebook. Sorry. Okay. You can see that error here. When we installing sometimes some Linux, you see that this location is not, the script Jupyter console is not installed this path. So I need to configure the path. I need to configure the path to look into when Linux, when I type the Jupyter notebook, it don't know where to look. So it didn't know about that path. So I'm adding that path into Linux path. So what I'm doing here, I'm doing sudo nano etc profile d. I'm creating one sh files shell file. So I'm adding that path there, and then it will load itself. When I reboot the system, it load itself, and it knows that the path is exist. So I'm just you can create any name. I'm just doing Jupyter.sh. Here I'm typing export. This is global path. So after rebooting also, the path will exist there. So you don't need to worry about anything after reboot also. Sometimes if you enter that path in like export and path, the system will lose the system will ignore the path after you reboot. So I'm making globally for every user on Linux, and also permanent path equaled. So that's the path I'm pasting, which is copied from there. Then pa path, yeah. Control O to save it. Control X to exit. Then I'm making as execute to permission for all the users. Sudo chmod change mode, sorry, plus X. That's it. So I install all the components just to make sure this path, to affect this path. I'm just rebooting the system. Systemctl reboot. And the best, if sometimes if the people can install these Jupyter notebooks remotely, The thing is, when you are analyzing the data, when you are doing your data science project, it takes a lot of resource. So the best way to install this notebook, Jupyter notebook, on another system, or which is a more resource, then you can connect from your normal laptop or desktop. You can analyze the data very quickly. Okay, here we are now. I'm running now Jupyter notebook. Okay, Jupyter notebook is running now. Then I explained in previous video, you can work your Jupyter and everything here. But in this video, I want to explain how we can work in Visual Studio. So I'm going to open Visual Studio now. Code. Code is a command to open the Visual Studio. So I'm open the Visual Studio on Linux now. The first thing, sorry, we need to enable Python extension Visual Studio. So if this is the extension, if you click this one, you'll see the search bar. Just type Python. So this is the first top one we have to install. So click install. It will install very quickly. It doesn't take that much time. We already got Python interface, Python pack. Everything is installed. This is enabling in the enabling the extension in the Visual Studio. So it's installing now from the cloud, and okay, it's done now. So I'm going to workspace now. So if you see the workspace here, so how to open the Jupyter notebook, how to create that? What you have to do in Linux or PC, you have to use Shift Control P. So you see that search bar, and if you are using Mac, Command Shift P. Okay, here see create. So you will see that here. Just a minute. Jupyter notebook. Create new blank Jupyter notebook. When you click that, it will create the Jupyter notebook, and you see the Jupyter server not started. So this is the main thing you have to remember. It is not connected. So it is started, but is not connected. So sometimes it takes long time. Sometimes it is this system is I'm running on virtual machine, so it is very less resource, and is do not have that much resource. So another thing is I'm not in workspace at the moment. So what you have to do, open folder for your workspace. I'm creating a desktop now. Yes, I'm adding test, create. Okay. So it is creating now workspace, and here I'm doing that again. Jupyter blank notebook. I'm just waiting for to load all the components now. Oh, still taking time. Sorry, it take long time. You see that it is running on local, and it is, you can see that is clearly showing green is connected. Then you can type print. So you see that it has a lot of best options in Visual Studio, so you can run all the books very quickly. And this is Jupyter notebook. So to execute the output, you have to type shift enter. So this is Jupyter notebook. And next I want to show you markdown text, escape M. So that is markdown. You can see that this is a markdown text now. Text. So I can write Jupyter notebooks I can write how many lines I want and everything. And then shift enter, so it create another cell below that one. So you can save it straight away, and you can rename, you can do anything here as same as before. Yeah, save all, everything. And if you are good experience with Git, you can add your Git here, and you can synchronize your code with the Git repository also. This is done. Now you can export, if you want to debug this Python code, you can export this into .py. So you can see that here is the button. If you click that, this will convert to Python script. Then you can debug that in Visual Studio Code for your project. So you can't debug PYNB so in Visual Studio. So that's why you can convert your project file and debug in Visual Studio. So this is what I'm showing. And another thing I want to show you how to add a remote server. Again, I'm showing here how to add remote server. If you use Jupyter Notebook server, Jupyter Notebook is running on another machine. So you need to connect from your machine to that machine. The other thing, the main thing why I'm suggesting that if you loading lots of data, some thousands of some 100,000 rows, some CSV files, it takes a long time to analyze the data. If you sometimes it takes overnight, sometimes one day to analyze the data on your laptop. But if you are running the data on the high-end machine or server, it will do very quickly in an hour like that. So what you have to do, add remote server, Shift Control P again. So you have to type Python colon specify. So you can see that specify local or remote server for connection. Here you can enter default is local one and or existing one. So you have to get whatever you see that here is our server is running. So you have to get this IP address and token. Copy that one and paste here. So here is I'm running a local one. So you see that. So just copy, paste, and just press enter. So it will activate itself. This is local, it's connected already. But if you're remote, the same thing, the same part you need, and copy paste here, and that's it. It will connect automatically to remote server. You can run everything into remote server, and you can load the data, you can analyze the data and everything. So that's it in Linux I'm showing, and we are jumping onto Windows. I'm showing this everything on Windows 10. So how we going to do the same thing in Windows 10 also. See you in the Windows installation now. Okay, now we are on Windows machine. Here the first thing we need to download Python, and we will download the Python. Then we install the Python first. Then we will install pip. Then we will install Visual Studio. Then I will show you how to do the Visual Studio also. Work with the Jupyter Notebook in Visual Studio. Now I'm downloading Python now. Run. So before I just want to oh sorry, I already installed. Just a minute, I'll show you from beginning again. Just, okay, here I am. Okay, okay. This is a fresh system without any Python or any Jupyter now. So what I'm doing, I'm first downloading the Python. Then we're going to install Python. Then we install Visual Studio Code. Then we will go the next stage. Okay, and download Python, run. Okay, here is the bit. don't forget, otherwise you need to go to environments and adding the path, same what we did in Linux. So here is add Python 3.8 to path. So what it will do, it will create environmental path in our Windows profile. So we can load with Python. When you type the Python, it will execute itself. Otherwise, you have to go to the installation directory and run the Python. So that's why I'm saying that you must tick this box to do that. So install now. So it's installing now. Then we're going to install pip. Come on, taking long time today. Okay, next I'm going to download the Visual Studio Code also in the meantime. VS Code. A download. I'm using on Windows 10, so I'm downloading Windows 10 now. So save it. Okay, view downloads. It's still downloading. So, okay, Python still installing Bootstrap and everything. Pip Bootstrap. Okay, this one installing you. It is installing pip also. So we don't need to worry about that now. So I'm going to open command prompt now. Okay, here is one more thing I know. Changes to your mission configurator to allow more than 256 character, bypass the 260 characters. So I'm disabling this one. That is sometimes if it's a file, if your path going to be more and more, sometimes it will give you error. So I'm just maximum path disabling it. That's it. Done. Then we're going to command prompt. Now I'm installing. It's already, you can see that Python version. So we installed 3.8.3, that is the latest one. Another thing is pip version also, I will show you. Pip version. So it's installed 19.2.3, but at the moment is pip version is 20 point something 20.1 or 20.0.1. I don't remember exactly. But anyway, we are installing next Jupyter notebook. So the command pip install Jupyter. So it will install, it will download the Jupyter and it will install itself. And in the meantime, we will install Visual Studio also. It will run in background. So we will install here Visual Studio. So it will save some time now. Accept agreement. Next. Next. Okay. Next. So I'm just creating the shortcut on desktop. Install. It will it will install very quickly. Visual Studio doesn't take that much time. Visual Studio is just a bare bone, not like Visual Studio Professional is just a bare one. So you have to add all extensions later. Okay, Visual Studio finished nearly. Okay, Visual Studio is finished now. Jupyter is still installing. You can see that if you see the installation lines, it's installing IPY kernel, it's installing NBC convert. This NBC convert will help you to convert your files, your Jupyter notebooks as a PDFs, and you can convert into docs. So that will look into different lecture, not in this one. So that is a extra lecture, extra video I will make. And it's still installing, and it's installing all Python packages, also some of the dependencies. Still in downloading some more packages. Closing, clearing everything, clicked out everything, close tabs. Okay. If you have any questions on this installation, or if you have any questions on Jupyter Notebooks, please mention in comments, so I will get back to you as soon as possible. If you have any suggestions and any mistakes, if I did any mistakes in this video, please mention in the comments, so I will correct myself and I will correct in next video also. Thank you. And still it's installing. Oh, nice. This is a virtual machine, that's why it's taking long time. Otherwise, if you have a proper physical machine, it will very quick. And also it is depend on how much internet speed you have. Sometimes if it's this is, you can see that it's a 3.2 Mbps and 1.3 Mbps per second. Oh, but my system will check how much is resource is using. And also I will make you another video. We will compare is with other, how which one is working, is it Linux's speed or Windows's speed, just for some, it will help some users to choose which one they want, which operating system they want to work on. um, it's still doing something. Oh, just I'm pausing here, come back later. Oh, welcome back. Oh, at last is finished after a long time. I don't know. I'm using virtual machine with just 2 GB RAM, so that's why it took a long time. So you see here, it is mentioning that I'm using PIP version 19.2. However, version is available. So can you please upgrade using this command? So we can do that also. Python -m pip install upgrade pip. I hope it will finish very quickly. Not, it doesn't take that much time. Okay, it's done now, and everything, all the requirements we installed, everything done now. So now we're going to open Visual Studio Code now here. Okay, it's opening now. Okay, here is also, we need to enable our Python extension first. Python. So you see the first extension, Python install. And you can see the lots of extension here. Also you can use Git, and you can use other things also to your repository and synchronize. You export your code into Git repository, and you can version control and everything. I hope you know very well at the Visual Studios. And then okay, the extension installation done. Now we're going to workplace. Sorry, I'm making big now. So the same key again, Shift Control P, again create. You see that here is a Jupyter notebook again. So same thing happened again. We have to click it. It takes some time to connect the server and load out your Jupyter environment. And same thing every same like whatever we did it in Linux. So it takes some time to connect back again. This local server. Oh, in Windows is quick now, is connected now. You can see the Python version on right hand side, and you can see the Jupyter is local is connected. So we will test our code now. Print, sorry, this is, sorry for my typo mistake. This is Jupyter notebook. Shift enter, you will see the output, and if you see the markdown, escape M, so it will mark it as a markdown. Sorry, this is markdown text, blah blah blah. Okay, and shift enter. So we'll see that it remove all blank space and put that one. And you can insert, this is one insert, run cells above cell, run above cell, run below cell, and you can restart all IPA, your Jupyter notebook again. Your kernel, it will restart all the kernel and Jupyter notebook, and this will interrupt the IP kernel. If you want to stop some data analysis, if you have a lengthy of data, but if you have any mistake, so you need to stop the data analysis and correct it. Yes, so this will help you a lot on it, interrupt the Python kernel. And this one, insert the cell. Yeah, wherever your cursor, it will insert the cell. And this one is clear all output, and you can start again from beginning. And if you don't in your code, you can correct your code and you execute your code. You can test the code and clear all output. And this one show variables active in Jupyter kernel. That's the variables how you imported and what variables you configured. And this is save the notebook. And this one is again convert your Jupyter notebook into .py, so you can debug in Visual Studio. Sorry, you can debug in Visual Studio and you can use into your project. So this is the main commands, main controls you will use in your Jupyter notebook. Uh, and that's it for this video. So if you have any questions or any suggestions, if I have done any mistakes, please comment below, and also please subscribe. Thank you very much. Bye.